Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar on viewing the latest feature releases for Sage Intacct. My name is Ali Pakalnis, and I will help facilitate our webinar today. Before we get started, here are a few tips on using the Zoom platform so you can engage with our presenters and have the best experience possible. You should see a Zoom toolbar with icons for Ask a Question and Raise Your Hand. Please use the Ask a Question feature to submit a question or comment. If you need any assistance, click on the Raise Your Hand button and I will connect with you to help. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation and we will do our best to answer them all. If we didn't answer your question, we will follow up with you personally after the presentation. Within 72 hours of the webinar, you will receive a link to download the slide deck and recorded presentation. Today's webinar does qualify for CPE credits. To receive your credits, you must actively respond to 3 out of the 5 polling questions and stay on for the duration of the webinar. Next slide, Jen. If you have any difficulty answering the polling questions, please email elevatelearn@armaninollp.com with questions. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters, Jen Bowman and Shannon Santasteven.
Hi, I'm Jen Bowman, manager here in our tech consulting group for Sage Intacct. And together, Shannon and I, we look forward to providing you some good insights into the release 1 for 2025 with Sage Intacct. You want to say hi, Shannon?
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Santasteven, and I'm looking forward to working on this webinar with Jen.
Great. And we are joined by Sean and Sam, 2 members of our Intacct Delivery Department, and they will be on hand to answer any questions in the chat or the Q&A. All right, so for our learning objectives, we definitely want you to gain a deeper understanding of how to leverage the functionality within Sage Intacct, particularly the new functionality that comes out every quarter, as you know, with the Sage Intacct updates. We want to help you navigate, update a user interface, and apply best practices, leveraging the latest releases for really maximum impact, making sure to help each other work smarter, not harder. This is CPE accredited for 1 hour. I think as Ali mentioned, you do need to answer the polling questions ordered and also stay on for the webinar for at least 50 minutes for that CPE certificate to be gained. Our agenda includes lots of exciting updates. We're going to talk about Copilot, AI, infusion into the Sage Intacct product, the user interface, purchasing, the much-awaited AP automation with PO match feature is now generally available. We'll have some updates around that as well. Fixed assets, the new Sage Fixed Assets Management module, projects, grants, time and expense reporting, company administration, etc. Lots of exciting updates are in store for you all. So first, regarding Copilot, I was unable to get a demo of that, but that will be coming soon. We'll try to show you what that looks like, hopefully maybe in the next release. But there is an early adopter program that is coming soon. I definitely encourage you to alert us here today or your client manager if you are interested in getting on that list. There is some responsibility with that in terms of needing to agree that you will provide timely feedback to Sage so that they can then ready this offering for full general availability release. But as I'm sure we've all seen, AI infusion into, Google search and Outlook, et cetera. It's that same kind of concept where they have infused the nuances of Sage Intacct terminology into AI-powered search. It really will help you to increase your speed to visibility, increase your efficiency, and it also helps make intelligent recommendations as well. So that's an exciting new feature, something that is coming soon that should be generally available, I would say, towards the end of next year, but definitely get into that early adopter program if you are interested. User interface. List enhancements are now generally available, no longer in beta test. There have been improvements to the listers. They help you personalize your list views while you work. You can, add, move, and resize columns. You can freeze columns and do some sorting, saving those customized views for future use. Also, advanced filtering capabilities. So you can search for a range on the date and amount fields and then combine multiple filtering criteria using and or operators. So that leads me to our first polling question. So Sage Copilot may be available to customers who request to be part of the early adopter program. Is that true or false? I think we have to allow 45 seconds for your everyone to be able to have a chance to answer. All right, excellent. So the correct answer is true. It may be available if you request to be part of that early adopter program. All right. All right, moving along to purchasing. This is the exciting news about the AP automation with purchasing now being generally available. As you recall, or you may know, if you don't, if you are already subscribed to the AP automation through subscription with Sage Intacct, this is automatically available to you. It does require a little bit of setup, and we can certainly help with that. So please do let us know if you need our assistance. I know the Help Center is very, very helpful with folks who like to be self-service in terms of setting up new things. But if you do need a hand, please feel free to reach out. We would be happy to work on a small project to help you out with that. If you are new to this, then you typically would choose a tier for the subscription, add-on subscription, based on how many bills you think you're going to process through this OCR AI machine learning engine per month. And then once you do select that, then you will get assigned a Sage Mail email account for each entity that you have. And then also the ability to upload. That is a business user function to be able to upload bills using this feature. So when you email or upload the vendor invoices, then Sage is going to use the AI to detect the vendor and then match it to the purchasing transaction. A draft vendor bill is going to be automatically processed for you in draft status with the source document attached. Then you're going to have a chance to review that draft and validate it against the source documentation, making any corrections that you see, and then post. Now, what's going to happen is as you utilize this engine, it's going to learn habits, get smarter, and be able to do better, make better predictions as you use it. It'll be able to look at the alterations that you've made, the adjustments that you've made to the drafts that were automatically uploaded. It will note those corrections that were made and then get better at predicting the GL accounts or the items, and whatnot, amounts, etc., as you utilize this engine. So it's very, very exciting update. So with purchasing too, there is more flexible approval delegation. So now when you assign a delegate approver, you can use users and user groups with the required permission levels. They're available for you to select. Now, if there happens to be a user in the group that doesn't have the required permission, the request will automatically redirect to the next approver in the group. There are security settings that have been changed for purchasing transaction definitions. So there is a process that Sage is undergoing to provide more flexibility during the transaction process. They're going to start permitting users to save draft purchasing transactions without a document ID. In this release, the first stage of this change in the purchasing transaction definitions is now available. So with more relaxed security settings, then team members can leverage additional document options when they want to edit a purchasing transaction document. So now restricted users can create draft transactions. Restricted users can copy existing transaction and save it as a draft. And then saved drafts can be edited later. Next up is accounts payable. We're now introducing vendor-based approvals for bill routing. So there's kind of two pieces, I guess, to this. So in the configuration settings for AP, you would need to enable this as an approval policy. So if your organization assigns approval responsibilities for bills based on vendor, then this is definitely a feature that you're going to want to take advantage of. So when you add the vendor-based approval rule type to your bill approval policy, then you have the option to assign a bill approval to each vendor within the vendor record. So in the vendor record, this is what that will look like once that is enabled. You'll have this new bill approver section where you can then enter or select one of the users who has that approval permission to be an approver for that particular vendor. So any invoice that has that particular vendor on it then would automatically be directed to that particular approver. And so this is something that you can certainly add into your Sage Intacct environment. And if you have a number of vendors, this can be done with an upload template. Okay, AP, changes to vendor visibility. When you select edit for a vendor on the visibility page, Intacct will now open the full vendor record directly on the restrictions tab. So after you save or submit, you're automatically returned to the vendor visibility page. If you have vendor approval enabled, any change to the restrictions will initiate the approval process. So all changes you make to restrictions are captured in the audit trail, which is accessible from the vendor record. Now, selecting locations or departments now works similarly to adding entries in the vendor contact list. Add a new restriction on an empty line by selecting a location or department from the drop-down list. And if you run out of empty lines, you select add, and to remove, select delete. Okay, this takes us to the next polling question. In AP, vendor-based approval routing is now A, an early adopter, B, generally available with setup, C, may be available if you log a case, or D, unavailable but coming soon. Again, we'll give us 45 seconds to answer this question. All right, most got it correct. It is now generally available with setup. Okay, moving on. Fixed assets management. All right, so now this is a new module with new functionality. This is the Sage Fixed Assets Management module, introduced maybe, 6-8 months ago. There is new transfer functionality where you can easily move your assets between departments, projects, locations, and other dimensions. Each transfer automatically generates the GL journal entries to ensure accurate records and is logged in the asset's transfer history. So there is a reminder though, this new module is not yet available to customers who already have Asset Edge or the old fixed assets module embedded into their Sage Intacct environments. Sage is working on a transition path for those customers, but it is not yet available. So this module would not be something that would be available to you just yet. So Sage is working on that. Okay, leads us to our next polling question. And the fixed assets management is available only to customers who do not currently have a fixed assets module. Is that true or is that false? Okay, well, it's 50-50. That is true. So Sage Fixed Assets Management is available only if you don't currently have a fixed assets module. So while Sage is working on that transition path from the old fixed assets modules, including Asset Edge and I think they call it SIG fixed assets or Sage fixed assets. If you are not able currently, if you have those fixed assets packages, you are not able to utilize the Sage Fixed Assets Management module today. Sage is working on that, but not today. Okay. All right, now we're going to turn to Shannon with accounts receivable.
All right, accounts receivable has some new features. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you. There are going to be some AR statement enhancements to include customization for header information. This has been kind of a long time coming, so we're excited to see this. And also you'll be able to process larger statement runs with more ease and less timing out. So that's great news. The receive a payment functionality is being retired and replaced by the receive payments new. And some of you may notice this in the menu where we have the receive payments new and then the receive a payment. So they're going to sunset the receive a payment option. And then greater customer visibility interface changes. We're going to be able to see the ability to add more customer restrictions by location and department. And that's something they've enhanced that screen so it's more user friendly. And then cash management has some new features coming out. One of the ones I'm excited about is the funds transfer. It's in early adopter to be able to make a three-way currency fund transfer. When you are part of the early adopter program, this makes transferring money between 3 different currencies a lot easier. Intacct will select the exchange rate for you and do that conversion for you now. The Nacha payment files, they're being updated, so they're more compliant for ACH payments. So that's good news. And then bank transactions can be saved in a draft state so that you can continue reconciling and review those before you commit those payments to being posted. And then for our Canadian friends and those transacting in Canadian currency that need French verbiage, Intacct will now print French on the check stock. So that's exciting too. And this is an example of the three-way transfer as an early adopter. So the screen gives you more information. And we'll do a quick little walkthrough to kind of show you those things. All right. So in accounts receivable, I have these 2 bookmarked for you, but you'll see them here. Receive a payment. This is the legacy screen. And this is the new screen that will be the only option coming soon. Also, in accounts receivable, when you're looking at your customer record, you'll see your restrictions screen if you have this option turned on. And this is where you can add or remove restrictions based on your wanting to see which entities or restrictions you've got set up. So if you're bringing in customer records from Salesforce or somewhere, you can do the mapping between there and make sure that you can see only those customers in those entities when you're working that way. Next slide, Jen.
Okay.
All right, order entry has some new fun things. Next slide. The subtotal functionality now gives you visibility into your dimensions, so you can see where your sales tax is being dimensionalized and you can make modifications. Also, you can have more flexibility during transaction processing. So sometimes people have certain transaction definitions restricted where they can only be converted. This allows you to create draft sales transactions, even with that security setting turned on, so that those transactions can be created but not posted yet in case you need to write a transaction for some reason and then come back and decide if you want to post it. Or if you're making that transaction and someone else needs to approve it before it can be posted. So that's a way to kind of modify your workflow to allow that to happen. And then revenue management is allowing us now to consume billed invoices and transactions from another system and then assign the revenue treatment once Intacct consumes that billing information. There's a great new revenue management grid available. And so you can consume all those invoice transactions and then assign revenue posting dates to them, kind of like you would in the contracts module or order entry if you're going to assign a date range for when revenue can be posted. Next slide. And here's a fun workflow of this. This is from the help files in the Intacct system. And so if you're on the revenue management screen, you can just click on help on this page and it'll take you to more information about this feature. Okay, Jen? All right, we'll take another look at this. And we can see here in our order entry screen, this is a contract invoice, and we can see our dimensionality down here in our sales tax and subtotal section. Next, we'll take a look at our revenue recognition schedule. This is the new screen that will allow you to consume these sales orders for RevRec and be able to add the revenue recognition timeframe. And then you can use the manage revenue schedule functionality to actually post the revenue. So that's fun, new, exciting information. Okay, next slide. Projects and grants. That screen got some new features. There's a new way to look at information so that you can see more insight around billing and resource price information. There are ways to download a group of attachments into a zip file so that when you're sending out invoices, you can add those to the invoices. And then you can view your invoices and then retainage release invoices and payments from the project invoices tab on the information page now. Next screen. So we're just really working to provide you more visibility into what's happening with your projects. And that's great new information from the project and grant module. Next slide. Time and expenses. The new Sage Intelligent Time module is allowing us to create and use rate cards to apply standard billing rates for employees, tasks, projects, and grants. So that gives you greater flexibility and visibility into what you're actually charging. And then automated receipt submission for multi-currency companies. Intacct can now consume receipts from any any mobile device. So that's great. And there are links in the help to download the Sage Intelligent Time application and be able to upload those receipts. And the AI that is growing is allowing you to use it for assisting in coding your receipts and making the process more efficient and accurate. So the more that you upload things, the better and the smarter the AI gets, so that it helps you code your receipts. So that's great new news too. All right, back to you, Jen.
All right, back to me. Reporting. All right, there are some new reports in the Quick Start library. I would say probably about 98% of you were implemented with the Quick Start templates. So this applies to really the vast majority of you. And you'll be able to access these reports in the Quick Start library. A little bit later, I will go into how to do that. So again, these new reports, as well as any of the Quick Start library reports, they don't automatically populate your reports center. You do need to install them. So there's a method that I will show you again when we get into the demo that of how you can install those reports. But there are 3. There is a variance analysis report shown here. There is also a variance analysis by department, and then a variance analysis report by location. So all of those are available in the Quick Start library. Okay, and this takes us to our 4th polling question. And that one is, the new variance reports will automatically populate my reports list in the reports center. Is that true or is that false? And again, we will give 45 seconds so that we can make sure that everybody has a chance to answer. Ooh, 50-50 again. So the new reports will not automatically populate in your reports list. You will have to install them from the Quick Start library. So I will go ahead and show you how. All right, here we go. So what I did here was I went ahead and went into the library and I installed them, and then I put them on my controller dashboard. So the way I did this was I just picked the variance analysis by location report, but I will show you how to navigate to the library. So you'll go to your reports, into your reports center. All right. And then when you click the plus sign for new report, you navigate to the Quick Start library. So here's the Quick Start library. And then you may want to, if you haven't been here in a while, maybe you might have missed some reports that have been added to the library. So please feel free to, scroll through here, see something that might look of interest to you, and then you would just install it. So I have already done this. I've installed all 3 so that we didn't, waste too much time with that process. And then when you do that, when you go into your report center, you can start to type, and there's that dynamic filtering that occurs that narrows down your selections. And so now you can see we have all of these reports in our report center. Something else that I wanted to mention too is this favoriting. Just kind of a reminder, sometimes it's been a while maybe since you were implemented, you might not remember, but you have this ability to add different areas into your starred favorites section. So it's just something that's, I think is always very, very important to be able to to note that it helps to streamline the navigation process. Something else that I wanted to mention, and I don't have any seed data behind this, but just something that I wanted to just kind of show you all about this. As you can see, this is a great report. It gives you your budget to actual, right, for year to date, and then also prior year to date, right, with the differences, the variances, between those periods. So something in this report kind of struck me, and I thought, oh my gosh, look how off they were in these revenue targets, right? So thank goodness this is a demo, I guess, environment, right? But in any event, just something that red conditional highlighting is really, really noticeable, on this particular report. So got me to thinking that I wanted to, I love to see clients extend the way they use Sage Intacct. So something that I think is very important to think about is when you're budgeting, oftentimes you might do a what if scenario or a mid-year, reforecasting, right? All of those types of budgets can be either synchronized from Sage Intacct Planning or uploaded with a CSV template into Sage Intacct. And you would house all these budgets in your budget repository. So it will be very easy for you to expand on this report. And so I'm just going to go in with the pencil because we have the time here today. And then duplicate. That's one of the golden rule, I think, with Intacct. Keep the reports, in their format, original format, and then create copies, right, of them. Oh, I have to create location. Okay, so sorry, I'm in a multi-currency environment, so I'll have to select a location. So let me do that so I can save my report. Okay, and actually, I need a place where I have demo data. Okay. All right, so I can go back to this and I can duplicate. Okay, and then, okay. All right, the magic of demos. All right, so now I need to make sure that I narrow it down because I'm in this particular type of environment with multi-currency. And then we've got this. So then I'm going to go into columns. And this is where if I had a what if worst case scenario, whatnot, kind of an alternate budget in place, that I can just simply take a look at this report. This could be a natural breaking point between my year to date and my prior year to date. And then this arrow allows me to add another column to the right. And as I mentioned, I don't have data seeded in this, but I could choose another budget type. And then from the drop-down list, all of the budgets that are in the repository will populate. So if I had that worst case, what if, whatnot, right, I could then add that in to this budget and just keep expanding on this report. So just something that I wanted to take a little time to show you. Sometimes, report writing, gets a little rusty. And again, like I mentioned, I don't have any data seeded here, but as you can see, you can just keep expanding on the reporting capabilities based upon the reports library, quick start, templates that are provided to you. So you certainly can take those, run with them, do a lot of really creative, interesting things to get the insights that you need, at your fingertips. So I just wanted to show that to you. And then we can go back to our presentation. All right. Okay, so company and administration is next on tap. We're going to be moving on to the topic of the custom email domain authentication. In May, all customers who send emails using a custom domain must authenticate and validate this domain. So this is a critical step. It it aligns with best practices and will help Sage as they fully transition to using enhanced email delivery service. The goals here are to improve the delivery and reduce the chances of your mail being marked as spam. And it also protects you. It's a security measure to protect you from phishing and other fraudulent activity. It overall, aligns, like I said, with best practices recommendations. If you have any concerns, about doing this, we are certainly able to lean in and help you. Please do contact your client manager or support for any assistance that you might need. There are detailed instructions on how to authenticate in the release notes. So just, so you know that there's a full set of instructions if you want to try to do this on your own. Okay. There are updates to permissions. In this particular piece here is associated with the Sage Intelligent Time. That is the smartphone app for that aligns with Sage's time and expense or timesheets feature within the time and expense module. So you can utilize either a online tablet-based or laptop PC-based portal or a smartphone app. In addition, Sage Intelligent Time can be connected, so to speak, I guess, with your Outlook. I think it also works with Gmail or corporate Gmail, and Slack has enablement as well. And it will intelligently start to suggest timesheet entries for you. Now, with this release, there is a time clocks feature and a rate cards feature that Shannon had spoke about. So the permissions inside of Sage Intacct for timesheets, list, view, add, edit, delete. Now this also affects not only my timesheets, but also my time clocks feature as well. And then subsequently, the staff timesheets, list, view, add, edit, delete also affects not only the staff timesheets, but also staff time clocks and the rate cards feature. Okay, so permissions. Again, all new permissions are automatically off by default. So that's something important to note. And in accounts payable, deferred adjustments. This allows you to enable deferred adjustments and create deferred adjustments templates. And then in the reports, deferred adjustments forecast report, the run feature allows you to run deferred adjustments forecast. And then in tandem, the accounts receivable works the same exact way. Deferred adjustments allows you to enable the deferred adjustments and create those adjustment templates. And then the reports run feature allows you to run the deferred adjustment forecast reports for accounts receivable. Okay. In general ledger, the variance analysis allows you to run the Sage Copilot variance analysis. Now, that also, kind of means that the Copilot, needs to be enabled. So again, that's that early adopter program. So I would encourage you to very quickly try to get on that list. I'm sure that program will fill up and be closed in terms of the early adopter piece of that. Then typically Sage works early adopter. It might be 1 quarter, maybe 2, and then they will release for general availability. But then remember, during that time in early adopter, you do need to be on hand to provide timely feedback to Sage Intacct to help them really improve, get out any of the bugs, any of the issues that you might see. So be prepared to provide the good feedback and as well as the suggestions for improvements so that they can ready that Copilot functionality for general availability as soon as possible. So then in the GL regularization, account reclassification report run allows you to run that particular type of report. In order entry, the list, edit, post, delete for revenue transaction entries, it allows you to recognize external revenue, which is a great feature. There are a lot of clients, I think, that are going to be able to take advantage of this. Anyone who is uploading, importing, synchronizing from another billing program, this is huge to be able to kick off those revenue recognition templates automatically, instead of kind of having to do that by some sort of manual process. We've done some things with smart rules and whatnot, but in any event, to me, the feature being built into the product is the best bet. Bulk action runs list view enables you to view your bulk actions associated with recognizing external revenue. Okay, takes us to our fifth polling question. New permissions provided within new releases of Sage Intacct are generally turned off by default. Is that true or is that false? And again, we will allow 45 seconds for answering these questions. Okay, excellent. Most of you got this right. That is true. New permissions provided within new releases of Sage Intacct are generally turned off by default. That is true. All right, great. Okay, so we have a little bit of extra time. I'm excited about that. Wanted to make sure I turn your attention to this home button. So full release notes will be available to you within this documentation. Make sure to check out anything that you might have read about or thought might be coming and hadn't seen us talk about today. But since we have a little bit of extra time, I thought it would be good to go ahead and get back into the product and show you something with regard to purchasing. This is a little glimpse into how the AP automation with purchasing works. So wanted to show you that I'm in purchasing, right? And I've navigated to my orders, my purchase orders. Okay. And then this was number 102. So I'll just view this one. P0012. All right. And as you can see, this is a purchase order that has been entered into the Sage Intacct environment in the amount of $3,000. And I coded it. I selected a vendor and, coded some of the dimensions here, the item, et cetera. Okay. So then I think I'm going to duplicate. All right. I'm going to duplicate the screen. Okay. So now when you sign up for this service, you will receive, if you just use AP, you can use it just against AP. So if you're just using it in AP, you'll have this new feature, automated transactions. And once again, you'll receive a Sage Mail account, email account for each of your entities so that your vendors or department person, people that do spending, people that receive bills in their, inboxes can then simply forward those and take advantage of the OCR technology, the AI and the machine learning to automatically code the invoices. So then you will have this automated transactions screen that you can toggle to. As you can see, there is an upload feature, and the way that would work is if I had an invoice that I would need to upload, I could simply upload that, and then you just browse out to wherever you've, downloaded that particular file or whatnot, and then you upload it. So I did this earlier so that we wouldn't, take up too much time. But you know what? I might as well try this. I'll have this running in the background while we're doing. So in my downloads, Okay. Let's try this one. Okay. And then you upload. All right, so then immediately I'll refresh the screen and the process starts. The analyzing process starts. And this may or may not finish, by the time we're finished, with this portion of the demo or not. But as you can see, you also get some additional features. It will upload the attachment for you. It will also flag if they find some kind of an issue. If they sense something is a duplicate, like this one certainly seems like it's a duplicate, right? So I must have emailed myself a few times or emailed the Sage Mail account a few times or whatnot. And then in here too, resolve. Maybe there's some coding that they weren't quite able to pick up or just something that they want to make sure to flag for human intervention, right? So this AI machine learning, it cannot totally take the place, right, of human interaction with documents and transactions. Okay, so let's view this here. This one is one that I did, I guess, yesterday. Yeah, I did this last night. So uploaded, and I did this through Upload. So I uploaded this, and then as you can see, clicking on the little paperclip is where the actual PDF was uploaded. So you have your attachment automatically uploaded automatically. And then it just follows along the same coding, just continued along the path in that purchasing process. And in Intacct, it's called conversion, I guess, process. So that PO then converts or moves to the next stage in the purchasing life cycle, which is now the vendor invoice. So that's been done successfully. Okay, so then you look in your history, and what's fabulous is that it is now aligned with the purchase order in the history tab. So it successfully uploaded automatically, found the correct purchase order, aligned with that correct purchase order, and then created a draft vendor invoice against it. So now with my ability to go in and edit that, right? Take a look, double check, eyeball. I would be able to post, and then if you have an AP bill approval process, in place, that would then be kicked off. So then it would go to go through that approval path. So this is a glimpse into the AP automation technology that works with that provides also purchasing PO match technology. So very, very exciting. And the tiers start at like 250 bills per month allowable. And I think that tier might be, I don't know, 1,200, 1,400 a year subscription. Don't quote me. I don't remember exactly, but your client manager will know for sure. But to me, that is a small price to pay for all of this functionality that you will receive. Okay, so now I can go back. My PowerPoint. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so something else that I wanted to mention is our academy. We do have some different packages of training. We've got I call it like bespoke training. If you want training done for new employees, if you want a refresher, if you want a reports writing training, we have different workshops and packages and things that we can talk, with you about. So definitely reach out to your client manager. We also have our academy. So that those classes give you hands-on learning. So you will be invited to participate live in an online classroom setting and have an ability to log into a demo environment like I just showed you and follow along with an instructor to learn different skills of navigating and transacting and writing reports in Sage Intacct. The reports writing classes, I've taken them all. There's levels 1, 2, and 3. They are excellent. So definitely encourage you to check out the Armanino Academy. Okay, and then for additional questions, Behind the scenes, we've had Sean and Sam have been answering any questions that have been put forth in the chat. There were a couple questions that we did receive ahead of today's presentation that, since we have a little bit of time, I thought I would go ahead and go over. And it's around construction. We didn't see too much new transformation or updates, I guess, within construction. And someone was asking about improvements in WIP and AP/AR reports. So we don't see any at this juncture. And hopefully, they have that on the roadmap. If you that home button is very important. So go back to in your Intacct environment, the home button takes you to the community. Definitely, I encourage you, especially those in construction, to join the construction group and definitely be vocal about things that you'd like to see on the roadmap and things that you'd like to see improvements on. Let's see. Something about a more generalized question that came through about bank connectivity. So the AP automation, to me, sets us up for almost, all of the AP process, the procure to pay process, being able to be accomplished within your Sage Intacct environment. The one last step is AP payments. So currently, with just standard navigation, you can cut checks all you want, but that's kind of outdated. People probably aren't doing that quite as much anymore. And they're wanting to be able to pay their bills in Intacct and then be done, right? So currently, with the native functionality from an ACH and e-payment type perspective, you would need to download your Nacha file. There are other marketplace partners, a wealth of marketplace partners. Bill.com, Tipalti come to mind as two, probably of the main ones that we see. If for more automated approach, if you're wanting to take advantage of the Intacct AP automation and just automate the payments piece, there's a few things that I've been seeing lately. There's a company called Access Pay, and again, reach out to us. We can help connect you. Access Pay has been doing some things. They have worked with Chase Bank, also JP Morgan, JP Morgan Chase, but like JP Morgan investment accounts as well as Chase accounts too, where they have in product. So in the Intacct product, when you're selecting record transfer, if that particular account that you choose is aligned with their service, again, it's a third party paid service, but it works within your Intacct environment. So Access Pay has some other banks too. They might do US Bank and some others. And they will also look into any banking relationship that you do have to see if they could, help you. Gaining a lot of steam, a lot of momentum. They are listed on the marketplace as well, but you can also ask us to help you get you connected. In addition, with AP payment processing, Avid Pay. So Avid Exchange has a full procure to pay third party, that with integration to Sage Intacct. They have an offering, but they also have a payments only offering. So it will work in conjunction with the AP automation that Intacct does provide. So Avid Exchange is another provider, but they call it Avid Pay, just the payments piece. That does require some kind of transformation of a report to a portal. So it's not in. And thirdly, for payments only, we at Armanino have an AP payment manager. So we have developed relationships. Currently, we have relationships with Wells Fargo, with First National Bank, and one other. hopefully will come to mind. Oh, Bank of America, Bank of America. And so we've got AP Payment Manager, and that helps you process your payments from the Intacct environment directly through the synchronization engine. And that works with our Cloud Sync technology. So that is our proprietary integration engine that we've built from the ground up. And it's called Cloud Sync. So you can definitely find out more from your client manager or by reaching out to us to ask. And we can connect you to the proper people. So, all right, so we have 4 minutes left. I think that we may be able to give you a few minutes back in your busy schedules. But I appreciate your attending our webinar. And again, we are on hand to help you extend your usage and footprint within the Sage Intacct ecosystem. So please do reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks so much.